Or start recording. There we go. All right, everybody, welcome to the Long Island Chiropractic Band of Brothers. Tonight, our special guest is Dr. Brian Moriarty. Brian's been a bit of a mover and shaker down there in Florida, Stewart, Florida. Graduate of Palmer College in Florida and was awarded the Virgil Strang Philosophy Award. So that's a big deal. Where I started out on your journey. President of FCS, Florida Chiropractic Society, treasurer of the ICA. Thank you very much for your service. Also just got elected as a representative of his town on his Chamber of Commerce as well. So he's a pretty big thing going on. He's got a lot of things he's committed to. So, Brian, welcome to the Chiropractic Band of Brothers of Long Island.
Thank you, Johnny Mac. It's an honor to be here with all these wonderful people. You're reading off that list, and I was just thinking about how I had a talk with my wife over the weekend, how I'm doing too much, and that all Zoom calls now have to start at 9 o'clock after the kids are in bed. So this is my last call of anything before 9 p.m. I had to make an exception because this was pre-booked from like 6 months ago. But I'm on the phone like nonstop for chiropractic. And some of you ICA people hopefully know some of the work that the ICA does and the great work defending chiropractic. But it's a lot of work. Being the treasurer of that group is like balancing the school board budget, which I also serve on in my local town. So it's like you want to get involved in so many things and serve chiropractic and serve your community. But it's like at some point you got to like say no too. So hopefully this is the beginning of a lot of no's I'm saying so that I can watch my kids grow up still. But anyway, it's an honor to be on here. I have some roots from New Jersey. That's where I was born and raised. My dad was a chiropractor in Watchung, New Jersey, had an awesome family practice up there. Sadly passed away when I was just 8 years old, but inspired me to become a chiropractor and inspired me to go to Dynamic Essentials and live the DE lifestyle and give love and serve for our patients without any expectation of return. And I tell you, when you do that, it returns tenfold back to you. So, I was just up in New York also just a couple of months ago to take my son, who's 10, to his first Yankees game. So even though I live in Florida, I still root for, the New York Football Giants. Hopefully there's no other Giants fans on here, but this is Long Island. I don't know if that's Jets or Giants country, but the Giants and the Knicks and the Rangers. But my heart is always with the Yankees. So my son's like, I want to go to a game. So we fly up and we go to a game over the weekend in June against the Red Sox too, of all people. And we get these front row right field seats because Aaron Judge is his favorite player. So he's 10, going to his first game. We're right in the front row. And of course, Paul Goldschmidt hits a long, towering home run that lands right in the front row, 2 seats down from where we are, just two seats down to the right. And the guy barehanded catches it and hands it to my son. So what a souvenir for his first Yankees Red Sox game, a Yankees home run to take home with me. And then after that, I happen to know a security guard at Yankee Stadium. But as crazy as that is, I live in Stewart, Florida, nowhere near Yankee Stadium. But one of the security guards up there has a mom that lives in Stewart, and half the time when the Yankees aren't playing, he comes down to Stewart, Florida, and he started coming to me as a patient. And he says, if you're ever up there, you should text me or something. So I was like, all right, I'll get his number. Who knows what that could mean? So I'm texting him throughout the game, and he was like trying to upgrade my seats or something like that. He's like, these people left. You can come over here to the first base side. And I'm like, I'm right in the front row in front of Aaron Judge, just right where I want to be. So he's like, okay. But then after the game, he's like, come meet me. So I go meet him. And he takes us down the stairs onto the field, walking by home plate, picking up the dirt, getting pictures right on the field. And what a memory for my son. First Yankees game to go to Yankee Stadium, get a home run ball, get on the field at Yankee Stadium. That's pretty friggin' cool. And I owe that all to chiropractic, because if I had served and helped this guy out in Stewart, it wouldn't have built that connection. It wouldn't have led to that. And Going to a game is great, but I thought that was an incredible memory for my son to have that. So go Yankees. I guess I'll get going with something else here now too. But you know, chiropractic is such a blessing. I was in the office today serving patients. I have a great family practice with kids and pregnant moms and people of all ages. Besides what I write down on my Chiro Futures malpractice form about what percentage of patients I see, Carino. Okay, don't worry. It's all wellness. Okay, there's nobody else. So no kids, no babies. Okay, but but anyway, we had a great day today. We had like 10 new patients. And this one story just kind of sticks out to me. And this new patient, this lady comes in and she came in and she had migraine headaches. And this is today. And she's like, I have these horrible migraines. And she goes, I went to a chiropractor a few years ago. I was getting great relief. And and then I just kind of stopped going. And then the migraines came back. So you know what I did? And I said, oh, what? You went back to the chiropractor? And she goes, no, I started taking Imitrex. Imitrex. So she had migraines, went to the chiropractor, basically was feeling great. All the headaches went away, stopped going. And then she results to Imitrex. So, and then that gave her some minor relief, but not enough, enough that she basically wanted to come back to the chiropractor and get the real healing. But I was looking at a quick Google search of what Imitrex does to you and some of the things that you can get from it, which include atypical sensations, dizziness, vertigo, chest, neck, jaw, throat symptoms, nausea, vomiting, fatigue, weakness, nasal irritation, heart problems, strokes. Oh, strokes, Tony, there you go. High blood pressure, and then it goes on, seizures, death. It keeps going on and on and on. And I just feel like, wow, what a blessing we have to be a chiropractor, that we can take someone who's on all that dangerous medication and stop it in its tracks and welcome them in, clear out the subluxation, and give that person their life back. I mean, what an honor it is to be a freaking chiropractor now. And she got adjusted today and she felt great. And she understood the big idea, and she was getting why it's important to come back and not just come for symptom relief, because as you guys know, we don't treat symptoms. The power that made the body heals the body, and it works from above down, inside out. And we're not symptom chasers here. We need to be strong and bold in our message. And that chiropractic is an incredible thing, but we don't treat symptoms here, guys. That's just not what we do. However, it's very apparent that people find us because of symptoms, because every single patient, I ask them why they're here when they come in. Like I said, we had like 10 new patients today, and every single one gives me a symptom. I'm sure it happens in your offices too. Everybody comes in and it's like, oh, my back hurts, my neck hurts, I'm Sally sciatica. It's always something with all these people. But that's where we've done a lousy job in chiropractic at marketing what we do. And that's where we have to get bigger. We have to get bolder. We need to get out there more. I was looking on the news today and I was seeing how RFK and Trump were coming out more against the vaccines, and Tylenol is apparently causing autism, and they're putting some pretty bold stuff out there. And I'm like, wow, when are we at chiropractic going to start playing, stop playing small? When are we going to step up and make some bold announcements like that Imitrex could friggin' take your life away and kill you, but a chiropractic adjustment can save your life and restore life to you. So I'd love to see us make some bigger moves in chiropractic so that we can get out there. And a big part of it is like how you talk to people. Now, when I'm down here in Florida, I'm always looking for my like New York type people that are going to come to my office, because I don't know if you guys know that up in Long Island. I guess everybody in Long Island is from New York, but in Florida, like half the people are from New York down here. It's like New York South. So when they come into your office, I can just spot that New York, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, whatever, like from across the room. And I go, oh, there we go. How's it going? Nice to meet you. Shake their hand, look them in the eye. Where are you from? Really? Secaucus, New Jersey was today. I'm from Watchung, New Jersey. That's just a half hour away. I can't believe it. Let's tell stories about New Jersey and sports teams we love and things like that. And you relate to a patient on a human level. I feel like so many times in chiropractic, you have like an egghead talking to you, and they're missing the boat about trying to tell you about anatomy and physiology and all the stuff you got tested on boards about. When really you need to just connect with the person and connect with their soul, earn their trust as a practitioner, earn their trust as a friend, that, hey, this guy's from New Jersey, I'm from New York, maybe this guy could be saying something that might be meaningful, and maybe I'll just give him a shot and let him adjust me and see exactly what's going on with them, and maybe they could change my life. So a lot of times I feel like we miss that because we don't relate to them. We come in, maybe we come in a little tired from the night before because we were up watching Monday Night Football, watching the Giants get their butts kicked, and then we're coming a little bit, we let out a yawn while we're talking to the patient, and they pick up on that, like maybe they're boring me. We always have to have cards with us at all times. So many people I've seen chiropractors, whenever you go out to an event, it doesn't even have to be a networking event. You could go out to the supermarket and you're at the checkout with the girl, and she's telling you about her life and how you think that chiropractic can change it, and they don't have a card with them. Or they're out to a restaurant and they start talking with the waiter or waitress, and they start telling you about all the problems they're having, and realizing that this could be a good introduction to chiropractic. So as a takeaway, I mean, make sure you always have cards with you at all times. I can't believe how many people don't have cards, and if they do, they don't know how many they have or where they are. Or here, look me up on Google or something. Like, you got to be able to deliver an old school paper card that somebody can just take and call you the next day. And it's just such a great marketing tip to just have cards with you. Who knows? You go to the gym, you might see somebody and they might need your services. Like, everywhere you go, like, you have to be thinking about chiropractic, getting patients so that you can save lives and restore these lives back to the way they need to be. So, chiropractic literally saved my family's life, and I mentioned my father in the beginning. The story about my dad is really an amazing one, because he was literally at 17 years old was diagnosed with a terminal condition, and he was from Jersey City, New Jersey, and his mother was born with a congenital defect. Okay, this is my dad's mother. This would have been my grandmother that sadly I never met. She lost her husband. She lost her 3-month-old son, and then she was about to lose her 17-year-old, which is my dad, and he was given 1 year to live due to malignancy. Okay, he had a malignancy, and he went to all these specialists. This is my dad at 17 years old. Went to all these specialists, had multiple surgeries. They were praying for him in school. He was in school and over the loudspeaker back when prayer was allowed in school. My dad had 28 inches of his intestines taken out, 28 inches in multiple surgeries. And his mom, my grandmother, is at work. She's upset at work, and she mentions it to her boss. Okay. And her boss says, I have a brother who's a chiropractor in Brooklyn, and here's his card. Okay, call him. My grandmother is just crying her eyes out, and there's that moment where she got that card and was able to connect. And as you know, Jersey City to Brooklyn is not exactly close. You got to take the bus and the subway, and it takes forever. But my dad started going to a chiropractor. His name was Dr. Nelson. Maybe some of you know him up there. This was back in like a long time ago. This is back in like the 1950s probably, but Dr. Nelson was his chiropractor. My dad started going 3 times a week for 6 months, and his malignancy went into remission. And because of that, my dad, who was a draftsman at the time, I don't know if anybody even remembers what a draftsman was, but he was a draftsman at the time for Western Electric, and he abandoned that career to become a chiropractor. And instead of my dad passing on at 18 years of age, he lived another 30 years till he was 47. And in that 30 years, he had 3 wonderful children, me being the middle child. So I'm literally alive today because somebody stepped out and told my dad to go to the chiropractor. And that's why I became a chiropractor, because that inspired me, because I feel like I'm not even alive today if somebody didn't say, hey, go to the chiropractor. And, you know, chiropractic is literally just something that I just want to give my whole heart, soul, and my life to, because I'm not alive without it today. And every adjustment is just incredible. Every adjustment should not be taken for granted. Every adjustment honors the principle that removing interference and allowing life to flow freely from above down, inside out. So when we chiropractors show up, and when we put our hands on, whether it be a 2-week-old baby like I had today, or whether it be a young child struggling with headaches, or whether it be a middle-aged person with low back pain, or whether it be a 98-year-old lady that has sciatica. It doesn't matter the reason how they've gotten to you, but it is an incredible honor to serve this profession, to clear out subluxation, because we don't just move the bones, okay? We remove subluxation to restore lives. And it's an honor to be a chiropractor in this day and age, to be able to save lives. And I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for chiropractic. And I hope that by talking to you guys, it might inspire you to go in tomorrow. And even though we've been at this for a while and you get a lot of the same type things, to remember that it is truly a privilege to be a part of this unbelievable profession. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Everybody, please unmute yourself. Something I held back. Brian is one of those rare individuals that's been under chiropractic care his whole life. Under his bio, he got checked and adjusted at 10 minutes old. Not many people can say that. Dude, love you, brother. Thank you for sharing. You dropped some serious wisdom. You reminded us why we're chiropractors and the special service that we provide and how holy it is. Thank you so much.
No problem.
Thank you, Brian. You're awesome. I'll see you at DE.
All right. I will see you there.
Yeah, who said that Chiro Futures had a problem with children and pregnant women?
You know, you send me that renewal and it always says, what percentage of pregnant moms do you see? What percentage of kids do you see? So it's okay. I always lie and say like 0.1%. So I don't want you to jack up my rates, Carino.
That has nothing to do with rates. That's Data Boy. You know who my partner is.
Oh God.
It's all about collecting information and data.
Oh, is it? Okay.
That's all it's about.
Okay.
You know, the bottom line is that we know that they don't respect us taking care of children. Yet I get these kids who come in, they're the sickest kids you could see. And, you know, I get these kids failing to thrive. I just got this little girl over the last 3 months, completely misshapen skull, heavy, vacuum extraction. Kid wasn't developing, orbit closed, started doing cranial work on her within 2 months. The parents are looking at me like I'm Harry Potter, you know, and they're like, but it doesn't look like you're doing anything. I said, oh, we're doing a lot, but we don't need to force it to happen, you know? And so just knowing that our docs are out there taking care of the next generation. I mean, we saw what's happened with the fact that we haven't watched what's happening to the last 2 generations, with how they've been manipulated in a sickness model and how they walk around in fear. And I blame us, because that was our kids. And, not being on top of them and not really showing them the light the way we should have, just adjusting them and keeping them healthy and not teaching them as much as we should. I think that now that impact is coming back. And I think that because of what's happening, because of just what you're feeling, yesterday they called it at Charlie Kirk's memorial, he felt God's presence. I have a problem with chiropractors who don't believe in God. And I sometimes say to them, I understand it may not be the way you were brought up, but the connection that you make with people is not of this earth. It is not what you can put on a piece of paper. It's what you intently go in believing and then innately connect with that person. I said in the class I taught yesterday, Brian, and I hope it was good, and I hope that the docs liked it.
Yes.
I try to explain to them that Larry Webster once said to me, I said, what's the greatest adjustment you ever gave to someone? He told me, and I told him, and he said, connecting the spiritual man with the physical man. And what had happened was he had adjusted a gentleman who was terminal cancer. And after the adjustment, he passed on his table. And he said that was the greatest adjustment he ever gave. Back then I was like, yeah, okay. But now in risk management, I'm like, holy shit, what the hell did you put him in a trunk somewhere and send him, take him out and put him in a dumpster? Or what the hell did you do with him? And, it's just is where your head's at. And Brian, we know each other a couple of years now. I've never seen a person who just kind of meshes into situations and then slowly kind of takes control, but doesn't take it from a point of view where he goes in there forcefully and says, I'm the new sheriff in town. You've got a very tremendous way about appeasing people and allowing them to come into your fold to listen. And I think that's a tremendous talent that many of us don't carry. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's a politician. But you're a politician for chiropractic. And the only thing you would fail at being a politician is, there's no love in that politician's pocket, and I always feel that love around you because you're always so sincere. And if you really want to tell me how you feel, you do. And that's a New Yorker, that's a New Jersey person. And not to say that a Florida person is bad, but that's why you grab that vibe, because you're not defensive and you're not looking to put up a wall. You're there saying, here's my open door, come in and let's talk, and I appreciate that about you.
Well, thank you, Tony. And I got to tell you, I think the world of you. I thank you for having Chiro Futures out there for me and my entire team at my office. Tony comes to Florida, speaks for us, speaks on our virtual conferences, anything we need. This guy is just an incredible ambassador for chiropractic. So thank you, Tony, for everything you do for us and for chiropractic.
Appreciate it, brother. Well,
Hey,
listen.
Tony, real quick. If you don't want people to think you're high potty, you should wear his glasses.
He's the only ones I can see with from 10 inches away. It's amazing. I could shoot a bird out of a tree, but if that bird was on my lap, I wouldn't know where the hell he was. It's a horrible way to get old, where you can't see your hand,
Anybody else?
Great.
I'll just share a quick story. I was when I was at the Chloe Jackson's wedding this weekend. Steve Simonetti, I've known for years through New Beginnings, and had a couple chats with him here and there, but never really got to know him well. And he and I took a 4-mile hike in the woods the morning before the wedding, and Tony touched on it, and so did Brian, about connecting with the patient. And the one thing that Steve said, which again, it's so obvious, but until you hear it at a different place at a different time, he said, no matter how long it takes, when you first meet that patient, you have to establish rapport, whatever it takes. Now, if you're busy, you can't spend, 15, 20 minutes with them, but you got to give it the extra effort. If they're not quite getting through to them and they're not comfortable yet, take that extra 30 seconds, minute or two to really bond with them and make that good first impression. Like just that commercial years ago, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And I think that's just an important foundational tool that sometimes, again, somebody on here might need to hear it again. I know I did, and I'm certainly paying more attention to that as of today. And Brian, I met you at ICA for the first time a couple of years ago, coming down with George Libertazzo, and immediately felt your commonality with me, with philosophy and the purpose and the mission of what we do. And I'm so happy to be a member of the ICA and have people like you on the board taking care of things. And anything you need from me, if there would be anything, let me know. But I can't volunteer for half the jobs you're doing. So I'm up in Pennsylvania. But
Thank you, Jeff. And we've had some great conversations over the years, and it's truly great to talk with you and George and that whole crew there. And just a side note, that story I told about going to Yankee Stadium, you know who I ran into while at Yankee Stadium? Was Steve Simonetti.
Of course you did.
he
I
lives
ran
there.
into him there. I was like, holy shit, it's been years. So
He lives there.
yeah.
All right. Thank you guys for coming on tonight. Brian, thanks so much for sharing. I
Brian,
appreciate
thank
it
you.
very much.
Thank you,
Everybody
Brian.
have-
Appreciate
everybody
it,
have a great
brother.
night.
Thank you.
Good night.
See you in a couple of weeks, bro.
Yep. See you, brother.
See you then.
All righty.
Bye.